As the careers evolve, so must the counseling. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here today to talk to you about something that is very close to my heart. It is a topic, a passion, something I have been doing despite being professionally qualified to do it, mostly as a career guide. Before I start my talk today, I would like to introduce you all to Mrs. A. So she will not allow me to say her name because she is quite shy. But I think it is very important for us to recognize and for us to appreciate the people who play the role in where we are in life. Mrs. A was my career guidance counselor in A-levels in school, and not only did she play a role in my career guidance and helping me choose my career, she also introduced me to this world of empowerment, this world of career guidance. Right, where you can work with people and really help them find their true potential. Mrs. A, this one's for you. Now, before I talk about what my version of Career Counseling 2.0 is, let's talk a little bit about what Career Counseling is currently. Now, Career Counseling 1.0. If you were to go onto your phone right now and Google career counseling, just like everything else, you will see a lot of different definitions, a lot of different ways that people think about career counseling. And many of them, if not all, are correct. The one that I like the most is career counseling is a service that is designed to help people find their professional pathways. Now, very broad, quite interesting, but professional pathways, right? Thinking about that aspect. Is that how we think of it? Is that the question to ask ourselves is that has professional pathways, have they evolved over time? Is something changing? In my experience, career counseling at this point of time is all about universities. What university should I go to? Is university recognized? What location, local versus abroad? I have to study abroad to be able to get a good degree and then get a job. What course should I do? Is this course in demand? And my favorite question, what is the scope of this particular course? What about jobs? Am I going to be able to get a job? Will I get employed? Will my university guarantee that I get a job? And to me, while this is not entirely wrong, I think there's definitely opportunities for us to think about career counseling a bit differently, especially keeping in mind everything around us that is changing. Now, what is changing in the world today? So, how many of us here on the crowd have heard before this phrase, education is the key to life? Quite a few hands I see. I have heard this phrase quite a few times myself as well. But today I ask, is education still the key to life? If it is, then why do we have so many well-educated people who are jobless, who feel like they don't have a path, who feel discouraged? Is it that the law has changed slightly and that we need to think about these things a bit differently? Are the priorities of the world still the same? Is the world where it was 20 years ago? What has changed? Are we thinking about the same kinds of things? Are we exploring new avenues? What are the priorities of the world today? The crowd today here is mostly youth. So are they the same kind of people that were there 20 years ago? We hear a lot of conversations about millennials, about Gen Z, and how these new generations are changing fundamentally in how they think, what they think about, how they're looking for jobs, how are they motivated to be in jobs, right? To further prove that point, what has COVID-19 done over the last 2 years? How many of us have heard about the Great Resignation? No one? Really? I see 2 hands. So the Great Resignation is a phenomenon that's being seen today in many parts of the world where post-COVID-19, a lot of people who had very well-established jobs are now leaving them so that they can do something else, something more fulfilling, something more enriching. So then, is that a fundamental change that we should be thinking about? And lastly, are jobs the goal? Is that something that, because when I hear about career counseling, many a times, again, what I see is this discussion around jobs. Will I be employed? Where will I be employed? But is that what the world of today needs? Do we have enough job creators for the job seekers to be able to get the jobs from? Or have we created a mismatch whereby we have so many people asking for jobs and no one to provide them? Right? So I like giving people questions because that sort of prompts, ideas, prompts our thinking. Now, what should career counseling 2.0 be, according to me? Before I talk about that, a few questions again for the crowd. How many of us here know what the fourth industrial revolution is? Again, a few hands. How many of us know what the sustainable development goals are? More hands. How many of us know what the Agenda 2063 is? Fewer hands, what I was expecting. So just give a bit of a background on all of these concepts. The fourth industrial revolution is basically a model, or it's the phase or the stage where the world is at right now. We've been defined by various industrial revolutions over the past, and the fourth industrial revolution where we are currently is defined by the progression in data, automation, analytics, and how all of that is changing the world around us. The Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint for the world that has been created by the United Nations. There's 17 of the goals, each of them dealing with different issues, and this is basically a pathway for where we want to see the world go by the year 2030. Before the Sustainable Development Goals, we had what we call the Millennium Development Goals, and now they have been updated. My most favorite is the Agenda 2063, because I'm an African at heart, and Agenda 2063 is actually Africa's blueprint for where it wants to go by the year 2063. And it outlines various aspects that we as Africans need to think about and need to focus on. Now, the fact that there are so many people here who don't know about these concepts worries me, because this is where the world is headed. These are those directions that we need to take. These are the goals that we need to contribute to. When we are thinking about our role as individuals, our careers, our professions, whether we are picking jobs, whether we are choosing to become entrepreneurs, these are the goals that we need to align ourselves with. This is what we need to think about. This is the change that we need to bring. And the way career counseling is done, I personally strongly feel that these are concepts that now need to be incorporated into the process of career counseling, so that we are able to guide the youth of today, the youngsters, to contribute towards what the world is thinking about. And that is where they are going to add real value. So, what now? Firstly, I really wanted to talk about career counseling, because I'm passionate about it, but also because it is something that relates to all of us. In the crowd here today, we have parents, we have students, we have teachers perhaps, we may even have counselors. So it is a topic that really relates to all of us and something that all of us need to think about. When it comes to what now, my first call goes out to the students, the youngsters, and different people who are thinking about where their career should head. I have my own developed 3 A's. I know everyone keeps coming up with models. I have my own. So number 1 is be agile, be adaptable. Very important in today's time and age. Figure out what opportunities are there and how you can align yourself to those opportunities, and how you can adapt to all these changes that are happening around the world. Once again, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that those who adapt survive. So much has changed in the job landscape since COVID-19 came. People moved from offices to going and working online. Studies moved from classroom studies to going online. Have we been agile enough to be able to adapt to those kinds of changes? Number 2, be aware. Know about all these concepts that I have mentioned today. I saw some very lost faces when I was mentioning some of the things. That's okay, but it needs to change. We need to learn about what is happening around us and be able to align ourselves to those things in order to become well-functioning and contributing individuals. And number 3, be active. Be proactive about your approach. Play a role in your own guidance. See, career counseling ultimately is meant to be a guide, but not your answers. Your answers need to come from you. And for that, you need to be active. Be agile, be aware, be active. And to the parents, the counselors, the seniors, the adults that we have today in the crowd, my call to you is be updated. The world has changed a lot over the last few years, and in my interaction with various people, what I see is that we have a notion of the world that was 20 years ago. Studying abroad is better than studying here. You're able to settle abroad, there are more opportunities there. Newsflash, joblessness is everywhere, right? And so let's think about these things differently. Let's, approach these challenges differently. Let's help each other find the right kinds of careers and professional pathways so that at the end of the day, we're all fulfilled and we're functioning individuals within society. Thank you.